Welcome back to the KCC. This is Kenny's Chelsea channel where we talk all things Chelsea Football Club. So let's get into it, guys. This Thursday, December 26th, Chelsea play Fulham, our West London rivals, right down the street, down Craven Cottage. Chelsea versus Fulham, everybody. This is a very favorable fixture for Chelsea. Historically, we have a great home record against them. We're like Fulham's big brothers that just bully them and give them a little noogie every time they come into town. So I expect nothing different this week. So hopefully Chelsea can deliver a much greater Christmas gift this year around than they did last year against Wolverhampton Wanderers when they put in a shameful performance and really gave us a really upsetting feeling to end the year last season. But I would say this year, this season under Enzo Maresca, we are a completely different team. And I don't see us having anything even remotely close to that performance that we played against Wolverhampton last season. So let's get into it, guys. Of course, we know Chelsea still in second place, even though we're not in a title race, guys. We just want the 3 points. We couldn't get it this past weekend at Everton and Goodison Park, our last ever fixture at Goodison Park. Thank God. So this Thursday, we have a chance to redeem ourselves and get our 3 points once again, just like we have been aiming to do every single match this season. So let's get into it, guys. Fulham, a team that maybe have been flying under the radar for a lot of the viewers out there today. So just to take a little quick deep dive, of course, this is a Chelsea channel, but this is the match preview. So we're just going to get a little more in depth in what Fulham has been doing this season. So first things first, Chelsea are sitting in second place right now in the Premier League table, sitting pretty in a comfortable, cozy Champions League spot. 4 points off of first place. Liverpool still have a game in hand. So once again, we're not in a title race, guys. We're just aiming for top 4 and just trying to win every match we can. But Fulham, on the other hand, I don't think they have any Champions League aspirations. I don't think they have any European aspirations. They've kind of just been floating around the middle of the table for the last few seasons. Sometimes they finish a little higher, sometimes they finish a little lower. But for the most part, they're always finishing mid-table. But what they have done is in the last few seasons, they have seemed to grown quite a core in their team. They have Anthony Robinson, they have Adama Traore, they have Andres Pereira, they have Raul Jimenez. These are all players that have been playing together now for a few seasons, and they seem to have kind of grown more of a connection over the years, as you would expect. And surprisingly enough, Anthony Robinson, left back, American left back, by the way, born in England, eligible to play for England, but opted to play for the United States. I'm guessing he just saw an easier way into the international team. All respect to the guy. Honestly, I have been wishing that Chelsea would sign this guy for the last few seasons. Once we signed Cucurella, I was actually hoping we would sign Anthony Robinson instead. Looking back at it now in retrospect, so glad we ended up signing Cucurella. I was not a big fan of the signing when we first got him through the doors, but Anthony Robinson, still somebody to keep on our radar. I'm a really big fan of his. And currently this season, he is tied in third place in the Premier League for the most assists, level with Cole Palmer on 6 assists for this season so far in the Premier League. So definitely someone to watch out for. And even a little bit further down that table, Adama Traore is tied in like 11th place with 4 assists, which is the same amount of assists that Nico Jackson and Enzo Fernandez have each gotten, recorded so far in the Premier League this season. So they have a pretty solid attacking team. They haven't scored a ton of goals, but for the place they're in, they've scored a good amount of goals, and they've been pretty average defensively. Honestly, if there's anything we can say about Fulham, it's that they've been bang average this season. So that's why I'm not too worried about them, but at the same time, we can't take them too lightly. So what I mean by this is, let's take a quick look at their record against Big Six sides so far this season. So far, they have tied So they have drawn against Liverpool 2-2, Arsenal 1-1, Tottenham 1-1. They lost to City 3-2, and they lost to United on the opening match day 1-0. So they got a terrible record in Manchester, but they tied against Liverpool, and they've drawn against all the other big six clubs in London. So now Chelsea is their last test of the start of this season to see how they do against big six clubs. So far they have a pretty good track record against the big six. They've been causing a lot of problems. Of course, that draw against Liverpool just a week or so ago, Liverpool were down to 10 men most of the match, but Fulham still put one heck of a fight in them. And then even against Arsenal the week prior, I was watching that match and they were causing a whole ton of problems for Arsenal. So that is why I just want to reiterate, we can't take this match too lightly because Everton gave Arsenal a hard time the week before we played them. And I was sitting all high and mighty saying we're going to smash Everton and this and that. And then look how that turned out. So we can't get too cocky here. We still have to understand, as good as we have been playing this season, we're still not back to our best, back to our glory days. We still have a lot of work to do. We still have a lot of growing to do. There's still a lot of development among these players that we need to see. So Fulham is going to stand a great test. It's a West London derby, so there's a lot of bragging rights involved. Of course, like I said before, we have a good track record against them playing at Stamford Bridge in the past. But every day is a new day, guys. So we got to be on our 10 toes. Let me see what else. So Fulham only have 4 losses in the Premier League this season. That's a lot less than a lot of teams. That's less than the Spurs. That's less than Manchester United. That's less than a lot of teams. So they haven't been losing many games. What they have been doing is drawing a lot of games. So we have to be careful with that because we don't want to drop any points, guys. We want to go in there on Thursday and get all 3 points because we missed that opportunity against Everton. We missed those opportunities earlier in the season against the likes of Crystal Palace and was it Nottingham Forest that we tied. And these are just little games that we should be leaving with the 3 points. And if you think about it, if we would have left with the 3 points in those 3 matches I just mentioned, we would be sitting top of the league right now. So, of course, guys, maybe I'm just asking for too much right now, but guys, I'm just asking for the 3 points. Can we just get the 3 points? Anyways, let me see. So, back to Chelsea now, guys. So, I'm going to get into the predicted 11 that I have in mind for this match. I do want to just go over some team news. So far, who is still ruled out for this match? Romeo Lavia, still no timetable on his return. Enzo Maresca kind of gave a worse report on him for this match than he did for the Everton one. Against Everton, he said that he might feature on the bench, but he wasn't sure yet. For this match against Fulham, he completely ruled out seeing Lavia in the matchday squad. So not really sure what's going on with him. Once again, I really hope and I really pray that it's not going to be a repeat of last season where he missed so many games without anybody really knowing what was going on. Because at least last season we had Conor Gallagher. This season we don't have any options going into January transfer window if Lavia is going to be out for an extended period of time. Do we bring back Ugo Chukwu from loan? Do we bring back Andre Santos from loan? Those are 2 options that I would be very happy and open to. Cesare Casadei, I don't think is going to cut it. I highly expect him to go out on loan or even maybe a permanent move, depending if it's a suitable fee or suitable terms with a buyback clause included or something like that. But we're not going to get too into transfer news today. I just really want to get into this match preview. So with that in mind, Romeo Lavia still ruled out for this match. Both defenders, Wesley Fofana and Benoit Badiashile, still out with injuries. Reece James still out with injuries, even though he's back to partial team training. Hopefully we'll see him back in a few weeks. No rush, guy. We've been holding it down without you, and we really want you back as healthy as possible and in the best shape that you possibly can be, and to hopefully finish out the season strong and see some more consistency out of Reece James. So he can take all the time in the world. We're not in a huge rush. I just want to see him back fit and healthy. And lastly, Mudryk. He didn't really get into too many matchday squads in the Premier League this season anyways, But of course, he's going to be out indefinitely, maybe permanently, forever. Who knows? So we'll stay up to date on the whole Mudryk situation. But for now, he's definitely not going to be featuring. I don't even think he's allowed to practice with the team or even be in the facilities. So best of luck to you, Misha. Hope to see you back soon. Hopefully that all gets worked out. Hopefully it was just all a big farce. We'll see. So getting into the predicted 11, let's get into it. So this is the starting lineup that I expect Enzo Maresca to field this Thursday against Fulham. Starting at goalkeeper, still the one, the only, Robert Sanchez. No difference there. We don't have many options in goalkeepers right now. I've seen some links to Kobel from Dortmund lately. Honestly, I don't think that's going to be a huge upgrade. We already have so many goalkeepers on the books currently, and we have goalkeepers that are coming into the rotation soon enough, like Gaga Slonina and Mike Penders out in Belgium. So I don't see any need for Kobel. If we're gonna go for a goalkeeper, we gotta go for the top elite goalkeepers. I don't think signing someone like Kobel is really gonna improve our situation much. So at this point, I'd rather keep Sanchez if we're not gonna find a suitable replacement. So Robert Sanchez in goal. I expect him to keep doing more of the same, putting in solid performances week after week. He's starting to kind of rub off on me. I wasn't a big fan of his. I wanted him out after all the blunders he made last season. But just like a lot of different players in the squad, I have seen a lot of improvement from Sanchez this season. So with the situation we have and with the keepers we have right now, I'm okay with Robert Sanchez starting in the Premier League for the remainder of the season, unless Jorgensen really makes a claim to take his number one spot. But we'll have to wait and see on that. So aside from goalkeeper Robert Sanchez, starting at right back, Malo Gusto. I don't want to see him playing left back. We got Cucurella back this match, so there's no reason to see that. Hopefully now that we got Cucurella back, Malo Gusto can play more of a traditional right back role. I know he might have to kind of slide into that back three system that Maresca likes to play in possession, but hopefully I can see Malo Gusto bombing up and down that right flank, because that is where I feel is his best and most comfortable position while he's playing, is where he's just going up and down that right flank, putting in crosses, defending 1v1 against the wingers. So hopefully we get to see that, because I don't think the inverted role has been working out too well for him this season. He's pretty good on the ball. His passing is okay. His dribbling is okay, but I don't think he gets into the best positions. And when he does, his shooting is just awful. He has still yet to record a goal as a professional top league player. And if you watch him week in, week out, you'd realize why his shots almost never even get on target. So I'm not talking bad about Malo Gusto. He has many strengths, but shooting is just not one of them. And he is an amazing crosser and amazing at playing that final ball into the box. So hopefully we get to see him more in that role, because Cucurella is very dynamic and he can play that left back role, inverting, overlapping, doing it all. Playing as a 10, Cucurella just a much better option in that sense. So you guys already know who I'm going to pick at left back. It's going to be Malo Gusto at right back, Cucurella at left back. I'm sure we're going to be very happy to have him back in the team after his one-match suspension last week against Everton. We could have really used him in that match. I didn't think we were going to need him as much. I thought we were going to need some height. That's why I was rooting for Renato Vega to get the start against Everton. But as we saw, Renato Vega didn't even get a sniff in that game, and it just wasn't very positive. So starting at center back, I think this is just really our only two options right now. Tosin Alarabiollo, who had an amazing match against Everton on the weekend, and Levi Colwell, who has been very, very, very solid in defense this year so far with us. He has started every Premier League game, and I expect him to continue as long as he is healthy. So that settles our back line. Now going into the midfield, I do see Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez keeping their places, especially with Romeo Lavia out. There's really nothing else we can do about that. They're both young. They should have no problems playing twice a week. And now Cole Palmer starting in the 10 role. People were shouting that he didn't have a good game against Everton. Even myself, I felt like he didn't seem as focused, or like he was really as precise as we needed him to be against Everton. But at the end of the day, guys, it's Cole Palmer. We need him, and he's going to come back from this. I expect to see a big statement match from Cole Palmer this Thursday against Fulham because that's just the type of guy he is. He might be a chill guy. He might be quiet. He doesn't do a whole lot of talking, but he does his talking on the pitch. And trust me, if there's one thing I've noticed about Cole Palmer is he is extremely aware of what the noise is around him on social media. So when he has everyone talking smack that he had a bad match against Everton and that he's not as good as people say he is and this and that and he's just a penalty merchant, blah, blah, blah. Trust me, guys, he's going to come this Thursday all over Fulham. All jokes aside, he's going to have a great match, guys. So watch out for him. Starting at right wing, I don't expect Pedro Neto to start this match. I do see Noni Madueke starting. A lot of people might think that Pedro Neto deserves a start over Noni Madueke, but I think this is going to be more in regards to Neto's fitness than anything else, although I do think Madueke and Neto have both been having very good seasons so far. I think that Madueke is going to start mainly because Neto played at the weekend against Everton, and I believe Neto was one of the players that Maresca was really watching his minutes this season, trying not to overuse him and allow him to pick up some sort of injury. I think Romeo Lavia, Wesley Fofana, Reece James, and I believe Neto was part of that list that Maresca mentioned earlier in the season that he did not want playing 2 full 90s in a week. So I don't expect to see Neto starting. I do expect him to come off the bench, whether it's to play on the left or on the right. We know he's capable of both. But for now, I see Madueke starting on the right side, Jadon Sancho starting on the left, and we really need Jadon Sancho to pick it up because I really don't think he did enough against Everton. But he's been having a great start to the season, and I don't want to put too much blame on these guys for that match against Everton. The weather conditions weren't great, and Everton was just playing their game the way they wanted to. They had full control of us without even having possession. It's like they wanted to be off the ball and just be defensively resolute. But guys, forget about that. Match review is already done. You guys can go back to my last video on the match review against Everton and hear me talk more about that. But to continue forward with this match preview for Chelsea versus Fulham, starting at striker, I do expect to see Nico Jackson there. And Nkunku, Enzo Maresca has already stated he doesn't see him as a striker. Seems like he tried to make it work as much as possible just to fit Nkunku into this team because Nkunku, I think if he could play out on the left wing, he would have probably had a lot better chance at getting more minutes in the Premier League this season. But he can't overtake that spot from Jackson at striker. He can't overtake that spot from Palmer at the number 10. He doesn't seem to be the type of number 10 that Maresca likes to play in this system. And then he just doesn't seem very comfortable or productive enough out on the left wing either. So he's a great player. Honestly, he could be very useful in many teams, but it just doesn't seem like it's working out for him here under Maresca. So who knows? He could potentially even leave this January, but we'll see what happens with Nkunku. But for sure, right now, Jackson is going to be our starting number 9, and looks like we're going to have to go for another number 9 in the January window, especially if Nkunku leaves, because I don't think Mark Gue is up for the challenge of being the number 2 behind Jackson in the Premier League this season. If he is, and if that does happen, then I really see us struggling more in the second half of the season. But guys, once again, let's not get too deep into transfer news. So with that being said, with my predicted 11, this is the score prediction that I expect. So final score, Chelsea at home. I believe we're going to put on a show for the whole home crowd, and we're going to come away with a 4-1 victory. And the goal scorers being 4 different goal scorers in this match is what I expect. It's split between Cole Palmer making a statement, Noni Madueke showing everybody how valuable he is to the squad, Nico Jackson getting a goal after those couple of missed opportunities against Everton, and just because I thought he was going to get his goal against Everton and that did not work out, and he's playing against his old club, Fulham, I expect Tosin Alarabiollo to get a goal against Fulham just for the storyline. So let's see, guys. Let's see how well my predictions work out. I'm excited for this match. Hopefully we can get the 3 points. And guys, final message before I go. Please make sure to hit subscribe on the channel if you haven't already done so. Make sure to hit a like on the video and drop a comment down below. Let's get a conversation started and grow the community. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll be uploading the match review after Thursday's match against Fulham, probably late Thursday, maybe even going into Friday. We'll see how it goes. It's going to be a very busy week, very busy weekend with all the festivities. So make sure to stay tuned, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.